The video shows this man going into a 7-Eleven in Stockton and emptying shelves of cigarettes into that large trash can. The video then shows the two clerks try to stop him before hitting him with a stick more than 24 times.
All right, well, now let's turn our attention to a truly insane and disturbing story out of, guess where? California, where a pair of two workers at a 7-Eleven store are now being investigated for assault because of the way they responded when a repeat thief was robbing their store blatantly. Let's roll this local news clip to catch you up with what went down.
Following developing news in Stockton, we have now learned the store clerks seen on a video beating a man who was trying to steal from their store are now under investigation for assault. So here's how it all started. The video shows this man going into a 7-Eleven in Stockton and emptying shelves of cigarettes into that large trash can. The video then shows the two clerks try to stop him before hitting him with a stick more than 24 times. The store clerks now say this man stole from their store 2 other times and threatened them. Stockton police say they are investigating the man who was beaten for robbery and the clerks for assault. When the investigation is complete, it will be sent to the San Joaquin County District Attorney for review. Then it's going to be up to the DA to determine what charges, if any, are filed against the store clerks.
So there's more to this story that you didn't get from just that news package. I watched the full video of the encounter, which we're not going to play, but the robber threatens them and he intimates that he has either a knife or a gun or some kind of weapon and threatens to use it against them. And then he is robbing the store and these people take him down. And you know what? Broadly speaking, I'm not a fan of vigilantism. But when I saw this video, my reaction was good for them. Apparently, this store is owned by Sikh, and they were having none of it, of this blatant criminality that California has downgraded in its legal code, and that some prosecutors there have started rarely prosecuting. Robbing somebody and threatening them isn't okay. And if you know the police aren't going to do anything about it, at some point you have to take things into your own hands. So it's not like they killed the guy, right? They just gave him a little bit of an ass whooping, and frankly, no less than he deserved.
I guess he tried that in a small town, huh? Do you think that's what Jason Aldean meant by his song? I don't think he did. But I'm glad there's more context to the story because I really didn't know which way to go when I first watched it. It looks like a pretty severe beating, and while I am 100% against theft, I think these people should be dealt with swiftly. My first reaction is just call the police, but then you see where it's at and you realize that there's a pretty good chance the police would not respond in that area or do anything about it. And from my understanding, this was not the first time they had been targeted by this specific
No.
shoplifter.
This exact thief had robbed that exact 7-Eleven already 2 times within the same 24-hour period.
Yeah. And so that is the inevitability of these kinds of policies. If you remove police from dealing with actual crimes, from really dealing with the crimes against people's person or their property, eventually people will take things into their own hands, and it's not going to be pretty, and you are going to have vigilante justice. In this situation, it seems they were more than justified in taking these kinds of actions, especially if he was threatening them with something more than just stealing from them. He's threatening to hurt you. Then you have every right to protect yourself and protect anybody else in your store from that guy. But that's kind of an unfortunate, uncivilized consequence, I guess, of having these sort of regressive policies on the books is you're not going to create a more peaceful society. You're not going to have a world where everybody just joins hands and sings Kumbaya. You're going to have more and more instances of this. And it's just not what we want in a society. If police are going to exist and get the billions of dollars that they do every year, then they absolutely need to be interfering in these kinds of situations so that people don't have to take things into their own hands. Fortunately, none of the good guys were hurt here, but there is always that reality too, right? When you start attacking somebody or entering into a self-defense conflict, you still could get hurt. Even if you have your own weapon on you, you really don't know how that's going to go. Bystanders could be hurt. So nothing about this is good. And the whole thing just reeks of systemic failure, I think, on the part of this locality and state.
And so people are contacting the prosecutor and trying to get them because they're being investigated. So the DA there will then decide whether to charge these people with assault. And I think, we saw something similar, though he eventually dropped the charges. Alvin Bragg in New York City, he charged some convenience store owner who defended himself with a crime. And these prosecutors don't want to charge anything, and then sometimes seem to bring charges in these clear self-defense cases. So we have no idea if they will or not. They may not, but I'm sure hoping they don't, because that would be a grave miscarriage of justice. If somebody comes into your store, starts stealing your stuff, threatens to kill you, says they have a weapon, and you subdue them with physical force and give them a little bit. To be fair, they kept whacking him even once he was down. You know what? Can't blame them. To be honest, can't blame them. And it's not like they killed him or any. It's like they just gave him a little bit of a butt kick, right? Like the comments section, Hannah. I want to read you some of these because they're pretty entertaining. This is the comments to the viral video on Twitter. Somebody says, "This is real masculinity." Another person said, "He's stealing all of the cigarettes because he's hungry." And then somebody else says, $5 says he thinks twice before doing that again. Another person says, F around and find out. This is awesome. Hope to see more like it. Another person says, wow, that was highly satisfying. Catherine Brodsky, who I follow on Twitter, I like her, said, when law and order isn't kept by society, members of society will take it upon themselves. Also, I didn't see nothing.
I mean, but she's right. She's absolutely correct. And if you let somebody be bullied enough, eventually they will rise up and defend themselves. That's just human nature. And, this makes me think of Atlas Shrugged, honestly. You cannot just consistently let the good guys in society be victimized and expect them not to either walk away from contributing to society or to start fighting back. And I think this is one of many examples you see where our country is becoming so punitive towards people who do the right thing, who work hard, who invest in their communities, who are offering services you need in a community. And now you even have a system where the laws aren't even necessarily protecting those people, much less the public sentiment. That is a recipe for disaster. It is a complete boneheaded path to go down, and it would spell disaster for our country if we keep leaning into this. And the point of the states was always so that you would have these labs where we could sort of investigate what various people were trying, what worked and what didn't. And when it comes to California, I mean, they've just been a bucket list of things that do not work and should not be implemented and should never spread anywhere else. And it is frustrating to me that you don't see more people looking at things like that, about really just comparing sort of red state policy, blue state policies, red economics, blue economics, and seeing who fares better and getting a clue. Instead, they just keep doubling down on some of this and often spreading it to other blue cities. And I can't imagine seeing this sort of thing go down and continuing to think you're on the right pathway.